force somebody like me to use a women's restroom, I mean, like, where do you want me to pee? If not on the ground. And people are just trying to erase it and make it as hard as humanly possible for us to exist. It makes it harder, but it does not mean that we will not exist.
Let's roll.
Lay it back. Let's go!
Hold on to your butts.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Topher.
I'm Grayson.
Nice to meet you.
That's when it really first started. Because, I didn't like wearing dresses. I would wear them because I was forced to, but I would never make the choice to. I was definitely described as, the tomboy of the family going into, Sunday school. It got pointed out to me I was not very girly. I had no idea how to act like a lady. I did not fit that role. People tell me it's a phase. No, it's not.
I think for me personally, it was being young and not wanting to wear dresses to church. I wanted to wear pants and be like the boys. But I didn't know you could be trans, so it really didn't bounce then. It didn't stick. So it just kind of went by the wayside until more high school when I was like, oh, you can transition, you can
do this?
Can be a trans, I can be a boy?
What?
Because for the longest time, I was a lesbian, and I thought that was great because it meant I could, what I thought, I thought it meant I could cut my hair short and be the boy in the relationship and, walk around in flannels and dress more masculinely. And I was like, oh, this is great.
Wait.
Yeah, this is it. For sure.
This is beautiful.
Well,
Plot twist.
That's a twist. That's very twisty.
so yeah, without giving it away, I worked for a retail company. And they had a lot of DE&I happening at the retail company, and they had a bunch of gay people working there already, and I would test my limits. I'd wear my binder in and stuff like that before I came out, and I came out, and I still to this day do not know what this manager said to everybody, but apparently they were all set aside, talked to, and I never heard my dead name again or my dead pronouns, and that was just it. Everything changed on a dime that day, and it was just so nice and so pleasurable. I can remember people saying my name and smiling and they were happy to do it. They were happy to be on this journey with me, and it was just so refreshing and so needed. And I think without that, I think I don't know if I'd be where I am today.
I guess with top surgery, was there anything that happened that you did not expect, I guess?
Yeah, so part of my top surgery is coming out in the end of 2019, early 2020. Actually, my top surgery was scheduled for a week after the whole world closed down.
Oh, no.
So I got a call about a week before it was supposed to happen saying, hey, indefinitely, we don't know when or how, but, you can't get top surgery right now. And so that was really unexpected, and it was really heartbreaking. It sent me into a really dark time.
Yeah.
But when the world turned back on, I was able to finally get my top surgery. But I think a lot of people do experience a setback of some sort.
Yeah.
Whether it be insurance or spending or cash or things like that. But definitely expect the unexpected with top surgery.
So I'm not going to be doing top surgery. Consulted with my medical team, and it's not able to happen.
Gender journeys look different for everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's not what I was expecting, but adapting. How did your friends or family react?
They reacted pretty well. I got received in a good manner for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's great right off the bat, but my parents, they took some time, but they are trying, and that's all you can ask of anybody.
You're my family and I love you, but you're terrible. You're all terrible.
With transition, I feel like you just transition your entire life. I feel like it's like coming out. It's like, oh, you have your big coming out, but then you have to do it your entire life for different reasons at different times, and I feel like transition is also like that.
Definitely.
Yeah, yes, there's a point where you're done medically transitioning or stuff like that, but like for me, I'll probably always be on testosterone.
Exactly.
Or, you know, I'll always be dressing a certain way to alleviate some dysphoria. Or,
I'm the king of fashion.
you know what I mean? Like, I will continuously be
It's a
trans.
lifelong thing.
Yeah. Like, I'll never be done being trans or transitioning. You know, I had a good support system. I was part of my university's gay club, and that really provided a sense of support that I don't think I could have done without.
Definitely.
Sometimes be careful about who you tell, because there are people that now that I pass, I don't mention it anymore, that I am trans to people. Like, I just, you know, live my life. And sometimes people find out, and people who, you know, he, him, people, you know, who were just really easily going about their lives referring to me, now all of a sudden she, her, and what's your dead name, and all this stuff, and like, you know, trying to get to the end of this Scooby-Doo mystery for them, like,
No, I don't think that's right.
and it can be really disheartening to have that in your life.
Did tea like really help like gender dysphoria for you?
Absolutely. I feel like tea, for me personally, really, like, it got me facial hair, it got me a deeper voice, you know, broadened out my shoulders.
Hey guys, it's Topher, and this is my voice 10 months on testosterone.
It really alleviated, and again, that's just for me personally. If that's not happening for you, that's okay. And it's okay if those things, you don't need them to be a man or to be trans. I want to put that out there, that this is my story, and if my story doesn't look like your story, that's okay. We are all on our journey, and it is okay no matter where you are on that journey, and how your journey is different than mine. But for me personally, it really helped to alleviate a lot of that dysphoria.
Yeah. Do you have like any helpful tips or tricks to anyone who could be new to testosterone, or like depending on what they're doing?
Yeah, I think that it's important that if you are struggling at all, like, I was able to actually talk to my doctor and go into my doctor's office and have them administer my shot for me.
Awesome.
Yeah. Look around for actual Pride clinics if you're not going to an actual Pride clinic, because they can have a lot more resources than maybe just an endocrinologist might.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think just looking into resources, like, honestly, go to YouTube, go search for people on testosterone.
YouTube has it all.
Yeah, look at other people's journeys. They talk about all these things that, like, they'll answer questions, they'll do all these things that maybe you need to hear, and that kind of thing.
I should start it possibly Thursday or Friday, which is cool.
Congratulations.
I was going to be doing the shots. I'm doing the gel, which is, it's a little less terrifying.
Absolutely.
A little less terrifying. Once my fiance moves up here, then we'll probably be starting the shots, because then I don't have to do it.
Oh gosh, I've done pretty much everything. I've had the gel, I've had pellets, which were inserted into my buttocks area.
I need you to put them way up inside your butthole, Morty.
My butt.
Put them way up inside there, as far as they can fit.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I've done the shot. So I've done auto injectors and manual injection as well.
Auto injectors?
Yeah, so
What?
it's basically kind of like you would see with EpiPen, where you do the thing, and you just shoot it and it goes right in. You don't have to take it out of the...
Why does that sound so much easier than the other ones?
It is so much easier, but it is so much more expensive.
That's painful. I was gonna ask, how expensive is tea in general? Like,
It really depends on your insurance and what they'll cover, but like the auto injectors were about $500.
Just send your cash.
The pellets were about $500, but it was every like 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
So that wasn't too bad. And then just stabbing my leg is about $60 out of pocket. And then my gel, I was super blessed to have a compounding agency.
Yeah.
That was like $40 a month.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Huh.
Yeah, $40 a month for gel.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Compounding. But yeah.
Huh.
I'm on gel right now. I'm switching to auto injector.
Oh. Jeez.
Gel is messy, and if you have kids, that can be an issue.
The doctor is telling me that since I work with kids, to go through and like do it on my thigh and do it at night, so it dries overnight.
You can also transfer to pets as well. Things to be aware of.
I have to go in for more blood tests like once a month just to ensure that everything is not progressively getting worse. One of the insurance requirements was that I had to be in remission of my rheumatoid arthritis before I could get approved, which thankfully I am. I don't. In the state of Ohio, you do not have to have like a letter signed from like your psychiatrist or your therapist to like get insurance approval, but I know in a lot of states that is a thing and it could be a pain.
I was back, I started testosterone back in the day, but I just did informed consent with my testosterone, so I just signed some papers stating that I knew the risks, and they went over with it in great detail what the risks were.
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest concern with transitioning right now?
Right now, the world around me. The world around me sucks. And it's scary because I'm a teacher, less than accepting, and I just want to ensure the safety of the kids at all times. And so it's just scary. It's scary to deal with. I want my partner to be safe, and things are crazy. I live in a really small conservative town, and this is not a widely talked about thing. I'm a part of a church that is very openly, widely accepting. We have a lot of LGBT members in the church and LGBT leaders, and they're all very supportive of me on my journey, and it's wonderful.
Going to Catholic school, so every single day, going to a religious class. Then on Saturdays I would go to Catholic Mass with my father, and Sundays I would go to Protestant church with my grandmother. And so, it was kind of like Jesus every day of the week type of deal. And so transitioning and being LGBT in general was really hard on me and my faith. I spent a lot of time praying that things were different and hoping to wake up and not have the challenges that were set before me. But at the end of the day, I've had a lot of people tell me that I would not be the person I am today without those challenges. And that person has helped a lot of people, and I think that that's a lot of good in life that I've put out there. But unfortunately, my faith has deteriorated significantly with coming out and coming to terms. But I know that's not the case for everybody, and I think that it's okay to be where you are and who you are with your faith and your faith journey.
I think we definitely lack a lot of churches that are safe places as they advertise. A lot of churches advertise to be safe, and they are not. Earlier this year, 2025, to actually find a church that is safe, sane, and accepting. God made me the way that I am. He gave me a purpose. He taught me to love how I am loving, and he is encouraging me to love everyone. No one is flawless. We all have our own little things, but God loves us all, even with those. That's what he is. God is love. He's not trying to condemn all of us because he's angry. If God didn't love me, he wouldn't have made me.
Can I get it? Can I get an amen?
Don't look right! Keep your eyes shut!
How do I go? Where do I go?
I'll say that it has definitely changed with my journey, as my journey has changed. For me personally, I was just not comfortable for a long time using the men's room because I didn't feel like I feel like I needed to pass to be able to do it safely, especially being, in more conservative places. But at first I used the women's room because that's how I thought I aligned, and then I would use the family restroom whenever I could, like unisex bathrooms, blessing in disguise. Definitely whenever I could, and now I am at a point where I feel like I pass and I can safely use the men's restroom, and so I go and I use the men's restroom, and I just, I tell myself that I am no different than a man that just sits down to pee, and that's...
I honestly avoid going to the bathroom in public ever due to this situation. I do have to use a public restroom. I go to a women's room because I've kind of accepted the fact that I still look like one. Otherwise, family restrooms are a blessing in disguise. Unisex bathrooms are amazing.
Honestly, I get stuck in the bathroom a lot, just being scared that I don't pass as much as I think I do. So I will get stuck there if there are other people in the restroom a lot. It's definitely not a gender euphoria moment for me. It's a gender dysphoria moment, unfortunately. Even if I pass, even if nothing happens, it's just I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be going through this type of deal. So.
What does that look like with packing around the bedroom? What does that look like with you maybe engaging in pack play or pack is that the only way? Let's start talking about that because that's the second biggest question on Google.
Well, they're called STPs or stand-to-Ps. So they can come in any variety. So there's like stuff like the Shiwi, women and more feminine people, and it's more like you go with the camping, and it's kind of like a funnel, like 3-in-1s where you can use it to like pee, play, and pack, which is basically a phallic-like object.
Dick!
Yeah.
Take a look out of starboard.
Oh my god, it looks like a huge...
Pecker!
Oh, where?
Wait, that's not a woodpecker. It looks like someone's...
Privates! We have reports of an unidentified flying object. It is a long, smooth shaft, complete with 2 balls.
The balls are used as like the cup of the funnel, and then obviously the shaft is the funnel part, and you use it to go to the restroom. They look realistic, and you can go and use a urinal in that case. Or if you feel more comfortable, stand at the toilet and do it. I have used them. They are super tricky, and it is super easy to get pee on yourself in public, so I do not currently use those.
I used one once. It was I second that, is that they are very tricky. Once was enough for me at that point in time. I need more practice.
Practicing in the shower first is like super useful, because especially if you get pee on yourself, you can just wash it off. You're in the shower, The problem with the 3-in-1 is that they're also meant for play, so it has to be long enough to penetrate and stuff like that, which can be super big to try and pack, and it makes it look like you constantly have a boner going on. Constant party going down there. So not my favorite to pack with that, unless I am doing bedroom play. But it's more, you can use like socks, you can knit yourself stuff and crochet things. They create little pouches that you can go ahead and just like clip to your underwear. They make packing underwear. They have things called like easy briefs, which were made originally to hide a little flask down there, but you can use it to hide your little dick, your little something extra down there. So there's a lot of different ways to pack, and it makes me feel more comfortable to pack, but it also is so uncomfortable to have something that's not connected to me physically that I oftentimes don't.
Haven't exactly figured that one out yet. multiple trial runs, multiple fails, still trying to figure out the science behind it.
Or even in the bedroom, you know, people use toys all the time and stuff like that. So I think a really good thing is having a conversation beforehand about what you're comfortable with your partner. Communication is huge. So, hey, I'm comfortable with this and this language, and this is what I used to call it, and this is where I'm okay with you touching, versus waiting and having somebody touch you the way you don't want to be touched, or, you know, do something that causes you dysphoria or a panic attack.
Yeah.
Always, with anything sexual, it is so important that you communicate your wants, your needs, your fears, because that way your partner can please you and you can have a better time.
I think it matters about safety in the end. If you are not in a safe situation to do anything and everything, to be as passing as possible. For a really long time, until I was with my now partner, I was very much so on the down low with who I am, because of the fact that I was originally not in a safe situation with some people.
I think I've mentioned before that, like, I am scared that if I come out at work that I will lose my job because of things that have been said, like bosses alluding to the fact that they'd probably never hire a trans person, and I'm like,
great.
All right, buddy, you just keep believing that, and we'll just keep on riding this train until I'm out of here. Stealth can be a really wonderful tool, but I also think there is something to say about people who, for one reason or another, can't go stealth. I was very lucky, I guess, in the fact that I transitioned when I did, because I was able to go into a lockdown as one person and come out another person.
You go, I'll stay. Join me.
Be like, boom, break down the door. Topher is here. No worries. You have seen nothing. Man behind the curtain.
Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Obviously, a lot of people don't get that grace. And I think that, you know, there is times where it's helpful to have that visibility, and that's why I live my life stealth mode, but that's why I agreed to come on and do this today, is because I think people need to have visibility and be like, oh, I do know a trans person. Oh, they're not the worst person in the world. Like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And, you know, so that when that person in their life, you know, their personal life comes along that's trans, they can be like, oh, okay, like, now I'm prepared for the pronouns and the name change. And, you know, like, I've met somebody, and I know, because it's easy to hate what you don't know, but it's harder to hate what you know and love already. Yep. So I think that there is something to be said. I'll absolutely be safe, but there is also something to be said for being out and proud. And
definitely. One of my biggest insecurities as a trans man is like, oh, am I not transitioned enough? Am I not this? Am I too late? Am I behind? And like being able to see a whole, like the generations, the layers of people in different stages of their transition, or just who they are. They're still figuring it out, but they're comfortable and they're proud.
The only way that passing is important is in the sense of safety. And I think that's the only time when it's acceptable to be like nitpicky about like passing and stuff like that. Because I think that it is bullshit when people go and tell people that they are not trans enough and that they are not enough to be in this community, or that they're somehow doing their gender wrong. Like, you can't do gender wrong. You can't be wrong in being true to yourself. Like, you are you. These people are trying their best to just be the most authentic version of themselves. Why are we tearing them down? And so I think in that sense is where passing is kind of became like a dirty word.
Everyone's transitional journey is different. Some can be longer, some can be shorter. Some people choose not to go through and do medical transition and just socially transition, and that's fine too. That doesn't invalidate what you're doing, who you are, because you're still equally just as you as you would be if you were fully medically transitioned.
I would say just keep being you, keep going. Don't let the system drag you down. I know it's a scary time to be out there. Stay safe.
Fuck societal standards.
Yeah. Burn society to the ground. No.
Yes.
But you can do whatever you want to me, but I will still be trans. I will still be me. And I'm not going anywhere.